In today's video, we're going to be going over a topic that I've wanted to cover for a long time, and that topic is sports betting. Sports betting has gained a lot of popularity over the past couple of years, with tens of billions of dollars being wagered in the United States alone. With sportsbooks profiting over $1 billion per year, it may seem difficult to be able to beat the odds, but in this video, I'll go over 3 different strategies that I tested to try to turn the odds in my favor. The first problem that I faced was my location. Sports betting is not currently legal in my state, outside of daily fantasy sports and a couple of offshore sportsbooks, and I wanted a much wider selection than this. Fortunately, about a month ago, I had taken a trip to Tennessee, where online sports betting is legal and where there are many sportsbooks operating. Over the course of my 2-week trip, I placed over $8,000 in wagers on 189 different bets using 6 different sportsbooks, and I was actually able to end up with a profit. So in this video, I'll be going over the strategies that I tested, which ones were the most effective, and how much I was able to make overall. For those of you who aren't familiar, I'll quickly go over how to read sports betting odds. When you're looking at American odds, you'll see numbers that either have a plus sign or a minus sign in front of them. If a bet has a plus sign in front, this is the amount that you'll win for every $100 that you bet. For example, if you place a $100 bet on the Lakers at plus 500 odds and they win, you'd receive your original $100 back as well as the $500 in profit. However, if a bet has a minus sign in front, this is now the amount that you'd have to bet in order to win $100. For example, if you place a $200 bet on the Warriors at minus 200 odds and they win, you'd receive your original $200 back as well as an additional $100 in profit. So now that we understand how the odds work, let's take a look at how sportsbooks are able to make money. In this example, we're going to look at the point spread bet in the Spurs versus Rockets game. Point spread bets are usually used to balance out any skill differences between two teams. For example, here we can see that the point spread for the Spurs is minus 6.5, and we're getting minus 110 odds. The minus sign in front of the 6.5 number here means that the Spurs have to win by at least 6.5 points in order for us to win this bet. On the other side of this bet, the point spread for the Rockets is plus 6.5, and we also receive odds of minus 110. The plus sign in front of the 6.5 means that the Rockets have to lose by fewer than 6.5 points in order for us to win this bet. So let's say the final score ended up being 107 to 102, with the Spurs winning. The Rockets plus 6.5 point spread would still win this bet, since they didn't lose by more than 6.5 points. Sportsbooks will try to place the point spread bet at a spot where an even amount of people will bet on either team. So let's say that 1,000 people place a $100 bet on the Spurs minus 6.5 point spread, and another 1,000 people place $100 on the Rockets plus 6.5 point spread. This means that there's a total of $100,000 wagered on each side of this bet. So the sportsbook is currently holding $200,000. Now only one side of this bet can win, and either way the sportsbook only has to pay out $100 for every $110 that was bet, since the odds are minus 110 for either side. After doing some quick math, we can see that the sportsbook will have to give back the original $100,000 worth of bets to the winning side, plus $90,900 that the players made in profit, which means that the sportsbook actually gets to keep about $9,100 for offering this bet. This is the general idea behind how sportsbooks are able to make their profit, so we'll have to keep this in mind when looking at strategies where we try to beat their odds. The first strategy that I looked into was a very simple one. This strategy was taking advantage of sportsbook bonuses. Many of these companies will offer promotions to new or existing customers that shift the odds into the player's favor by a large amount. I signed up for the 6 sportsbooks shown here, and every single one of them was offering at least some type of sign-up bonus. The best bonus by far came from Caesars Sportsbook. They were offering a promotion that gave you a free bet for the same amount of money that you deposited, up to $1,500. A free bet is basically just site credit to use on a wager, but in this case, you don't get back your initial amount. For example, if you won a normal $100 bet at plus 200 odds, you would get back your original $100 plus $200 in profit. But with a free bet, the sportsbook would only give you the $200 in profit. You aren't allowed to instantly withdraw a free bet, but once you place the free bet, any winnings that you get are converted into cash, which you can then withdraw. This is definitely better than nothing, so I decided to deposit $1,500 and I got my $1,500 free bet. I ended up using this bet on a basketball game between the Warriors and the Mavericks, and I bet on them scoring over 218 total points at minus 110 odds. This meant that I had a risk-free opportunity at winning over $1,300. Unfortunately, as you can see here, this bet didn't go my way, and the two teams ended up only scoring 208 total points. But I was able to withdraw my original $1,500 right away, and it was a fun opportunity to win some money without any risk involved. I don't think that this exact offer is still available, but there are all sorts of new sign-up bonuses being offered all the time. Also, be sure to read the terms and conditions to make sure that you're following all the instructions properly in order to participate in these promotions. This Caesars promotion was by far the best one I was able to find, but there were a couple of smaller ones that were pretty good as well. BetMGM and WynnBET both had promotions where you bet $10 and win $200 worth of free bets. However, my bad luck continued, and I ended up placing another $100 worth of free bets and losing. I needed a way to cash out these free bets so that I wasn't just leaving it up to random chance. Fortunately, I found out that there's an easy way to do this. I used a tool called the Free Bet Converter, which tells me which wagers I should use my free bets on, and also tells me how I can hedge my bets on other sportsbooks in order to guarantee myself a profit. For example, let's imagine that I had a $100 free bet on FanDuel. It looks like the highest conversion rate that I could get at the moment is 82.35%, but these odds are changing all the time. We can see that the best place to use our free bet is on the Trailblazers versus Pelicans game. FanDuel gives us plus 700 odds on the Trailblazers winning, and BetMGM gives us minus 750 odds on the Pelicans winning. When we click on the calculator here, we can see that if I use my $100 free bet on the Trailblazers, I should hedge my bet by placing $617 on the Pelicans using BetMGM. Because we're betting on opposite sides of the same bet, we can be certain that we'll win at least one of them. Let's look at the two potential scenarios that can happen here. If the Trailblazers win, we win our $100 free bet at plus 700 odds, so we'd win $700, but we'd lose $617.65 on our hedge bet, for a total profit of $82.35. In the other scenario, where the Pelicans win, we lose our $100 free bet, which didn't cost us anything, and we won our $617.65 hedge bet, so we'd profit $82.35 as well. And in this case, we'd be able to cash out our free bets for 82.35% of their value. This tool is available on a site called OddsJam, who is actually the sponsor of today's video. OddsJam scrapes the odds of over 50 sportsbooks thousands of times per day, and allows you to compare them all side by side for free. For example, let's take a look at some basketball odds, looking at the Thunder versus Hawks game. We can see that OddsJam has collected the odds from 9 different sportsbooks for us to compare. Many of these sportsbooks are offering anywhere from plus 525 to plus 575 odds on the Thunder winning, but FanDuel is offering the best odds at plus 610. Let's say that we want to place a $100 bet on the Thunder. It wouldn't make sense to bet on a site like DraftKings here, since we'd only make $525 in profit if we win. For the same exact bet, we might as well use FanDuel, since they'll give us an extra $85 compared to what DraftKings would give us if we win. OddsJam also has tons of useful bet finders and calculators to help you identify the best bets at any given moment. Many of these tools, such as the Free Bet Converter, are completely free, and they also have additional plans for more advanced tools that you'll see me using throughout this video. If you're interested in checking out their site, I'll leave a link in the description, and if you end up wanting to subscribe to their paid plans, you can use the link below as well as the code MTD to get 25% off your first month. Now back to these sportsbook promotions. I ended up using the Bet Converter tool to cash out my remaining free bets I was given for sign-up promotions, since I didn't like how variable the profit was when I only bet on one side. And these free bets aren't just given to new users signing up for accounts. Many of the sportsbooks that I was using were offering new promotions every week, so I was taking advantage of each one that I could find. For example, FanDuel offered me this promotion where I could place a $10 parlay on any soccer game and I would receive a $10 free bet if I lost. A parlay is when you combine multiple bets together, and you get a bigger payout if they all win, but you win nothing if at least one of them loses. I ended up placing this $10 parlay on the Bayern Munich versus Salzburg game at plus 516 odds, so I would profit $51.60 if the bet won. My parlay was made up of 3 bets, and only 2 of them won, so I ended up losing the overall parlay. But I did get a $10 free bet, which I was able to cash out for 80% of its value, or $8. So I only lost $2 on this bet overall, and the potential upside was over $50, so I still considered this a good bet. After adding up all of the profit that I was able to make from these sign-up bonuses and other promotions, the total came out to a profit of $173.10. The second strategy that I tried was finding positive expected value bets. A positive expected value bet is when your probability of winning the bet and the odds that you're getting on the wager end up being mathematically profitable. The vast majority of bets on sportsbooks have a negative expected value, meaning that you should lose money in the long run. Let's show this using our point spread example from earlier. Let's assume that every sportsbook on the market is offering these same odds of minus 110 on either side of this bet, so we can be pretty confident that our probability of winning either side is around 50-50, since neither side is valued higher than the other. Now let's say that we place $100 on the Rockets plus 6.5 point spread at minus 110 odds. We should be winning this bet 50% of the time and profiting $90.91, and the other 50% of the time we should lose this bet and lose our entire $100. This works out to an expected value of about minus $4.55, or minus 4.55%. Now obviously, if we only take this bet once, we'll either win $90.91 or we'll lose $100. But an expected value of minus $4.55 means that if we were to place this bet thousands of times, we would expect to lose $4.55 on average. This is not the type of bet that we're looking for. We want a bet where we're expected to make money in the long run. Now unfortunately, we'll rarely know the exact odds of winning a given bet, but there is a way that we can estimate this percentage. One sportsbook in particular is known for being the sharpest, meaning that they have the most accurate odds. This sportsbook is Pinnacle. We can use Pinnacle's odds to estimate the true probability of winning. Then we can compare this win probability to all of the other odds offered by other sportsbooks in order to see if there are any positive expected value bets. Let's find an example on the positive expected value page on OddsJam. Here we can see that in the Leicester City vs Crystal Palace game, Pinnacle is offering minus 308 odds on the over 1.5 total goals bet, and plus 230 odds on the under 1.5 total goals bet. Using OddsJam's Fair Odds calculator, we can estimate the probability of each side of this bet winning by taking the midpoint of Pinnacle's odds. And as you can see here, this turns out to be a 71.36% chance of winning the over 1.5 total goals bet, and a 28.64% chance of winning the under 1.5 total goals bet. We can also see that TwinSpires Sportsbook is currently offering plus 285 odds on the under 1.5 total goals bet. Let's calculate the expected value of betting $100 at plus 285 odds on a bet that we expect to win 28.64% of the time. Using our same expected value calculation as last time, we can see that this time our expected value is now positive, and we're now profiting $10.26 on average for each $100 that we bet, or 10.26%. And these aren't rare occurrences either. At any given time, there are usually dozens of these bets available on the positive expected value page. Here's an example of a positive expected value bet that I ended up placing myself. FanDuel was offering a promotion that gave plus 150 odds on Duke, Kansas, and Kentucky to all win their college basketball games on March 11th. I used OddsJam to estimate the probabilities of each team winning their game, and I calculated that Duke had a 77.72% chance of winning their game, Kansas had a 75.08% chance of winning their game, and Kentucky had an 83.51% chance of winning their game. Multiplying these probabilities together, we calculate that there's a 48.73% chance that all three of these teams will win their respective games, and therefore will win the overall bet. I ended up placing $50 on this bet, so let's calculate the expected value. We have a 48.73% chance of profiting $75 and a 51.27% chance of losing $50. This works out to an expected value of $10.91, or 21.8%. I'm happy to take any opportunity that has an expected value of over 20%, and luckily this one worked out in my favor, as all three teams won their games, and I ended up profiting $75. Unfortunately, many of the other positive expected value bets that I placed did not work out as well, and this $75 profit actually saved me from losing money on these bets, and overall I was able to make a profit of $61.38 from these bets. With this strategy, there were large changes in my account balance with each individual win or loss, so I wanted a way to lower the variance, which we'll go over in the third and final strategy. This last betting strategy was my favorite, and this is because there was no luck involved at all. This strategy is known as arbitrage betting. Arbitrage bets allow you to take opposite sides of a bet on two different sportsbooks in order to guarantee a profit before the game even happens. It doesn't sound very realistic that sportsbooks have odds that are so different that you can guarantee yourself a profit, but there are constantly dozens of opportunities available and being tracked on OddsJam's arbitrage page. Here's an example of an arbitrage opportunity that's listed on their site. We can see that FanDuel is offering plus 285 odds on the Bucks and Clippers scoring over 114.5 points in the first half, while BetMGM is offering minus 250 odds on the opposite side. There's actually a way that we can place bets on both sides in order to guarantee some profit. When we click on this purple calculator, we can figure out how much to bet on each side to guarantee that we make money. We can see that if we bet $200 on the over 114.5 points on FanDuel, the calculator will tell us to bet $550 on the under bet using BetMGM. This means that we're placing a total of $750 worth of bets, and no matter which side wins, we'll get back $770 to guarantee ourselves a $20 profit, or 2.6%. These lower arbitrage opportunities, around 1 to 2%, were normally available for long periods of time, but I would constantly refresh the arbitrage bets page and look for even bigger opportunities that I would have to take advantage of pretty quickly. Here was one of the bets that I was most excited about. I was able to get a $420 bet on Trey Lyles to have under 1.5 assists on Caesars Sportsbook for minus 160 odds. Then I was able to get a $200 bet on him having over 1.5 assists on FanDuel for plus 240 odds. Let's look at the two possibilities that can happen here. If Trey Lyles has under 1.5 assists, we win $262.50 on Caesars, but we lose $200 on FanDuel, for an overall profit of $62.50. Now if he has over 1.5 assists, we win $480 on FanDuel, but lose $420 on Caesars, for an overall profit of $60. Trey Lyles ended up only having one assist in this game, so I made a profit of $62.50 on a total of $620 worth of bets, which works out to a guaranteed profit of 10.08%. These arbitrage bets were my favorite type of bet by far, but I didn't start using this strategy until the last few days of my trip, and I ended up making $179.67 from them. If I were able to sports bet again, I would definitely prioritize these bets over the first two strategies. From all three strategies, the total profit came to $414.15. I'm very happy with this amount, but I'm also confident that I could do even better if I were to try again, since I learned so much during this first experience. Thanks again to OddsJam for making this entire video possible. Don't forget to check them out for yourself by using the link in the description. Also, let me know what you thought of this video in the comments, or if you'd be interested in more sports betting content like this in the future. Thanks so much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.